Yo, what is up? This is Saturday. Feels like a Friday. I just got in yesterday. I was going to stream last night, but I didn't have any good internet, so I couldn't stream. So we're going to do it now. We should be streaming on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Um, if you're on X, make sure you give me a follow. I am slowly but surely growing a bunch of bots, but we are going to get this on the road. So as you know, I am a novice streamer, still learning how to do this. Usually, my talents and skills are best associated outside. Not an indoor cat, mostly an outdoor cat. So, we're going to figure this out. Today, I am going to talk about the history of ninja, the shadow warriors, aka assassins. Ninjas could be associated with a lot of different things, but we're going to talk about the history of how they came about, what they do, and I'm going to kind of translate it into modern society as how I use it for my everyday life. And I do actually use ninjutsu every single day, but not in the way that was used in feudal Japan. So I got a video I'm going to react, or it's basically a documentary. So we're going to react to a documentary. I'm kind of going to break it down as best as I can. It's going to be very surface level. So um, yeah, with further ado, make sure you guys leave me a like, whatever platform you are watching me on. Leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I'll highlight or I'll answer any questions you have. Um, this is free speech, so go crazy. So I am going to. Well, first I'm going to tell you if you're actually new to my channel. So I talk about this a lot, but I don't know who is new and who's not. But I have been practicing the first how I got into martial arts is first started doing tumbling. So I started doing a bunch of flips and stuff, and then when I learned my first backflip, it just became everything else seemed pretty obvious that I was going to get into martial arts because of the way my body was structured. So after you learn so many flips, you start learning how to do kicks and learning how to fight and all that stuff. So um I won't go too deep into the origins of how I got into it. That's just the basics of it. So started when I was like 9, and then it just evolved after that. So I'm gonna play a video here, and I'm gonna do a lot of start and stopping. So it's very interesting. Share screen. I might react to one of my videos too, because I did something that involves capoeira and kung fu with ninjas or with like the ninja arts and stuff. So let's get into it because this is a long one.
They're the special forces of feudal Japan. Shadow warriors who'll stop at nothing to get the job done.
So basically, what he just said. So ninjutsu is basically just like it's a Japanese version of the Neisio. So like it's a you know what's funny? W- when I joined the military at 18, my reason for joining, um, my motivation for joining was to become a Navy SEAL. How funny is that? And
The ninja were very much the unconventional warfare experts which any army needs.
The deadliest killers. Their genius is deception. They're lethal in battle and specialists in cunning, betrayal, and strategy.
Never trust a ninja. Even your own ninjas, do not trust them. They will lie and make things up and cheat.
Ambush, infiltration, assassination, and espionage. Their techniques are timeless and live on in the methods of today's special forces.
so American culture is kind of oblivious to like what ninjas do because of the way that American society, like American, like it's like we were brought up on, especially if you're born in the 80s and 90s, you're brought up on Beverly Hills Ninja, the Ninja Turtles, like Three Ninjas Kick Back. Like those are like comedies and stuff. They don't really portray like the darkness and like the brutalness of like what ninjas do. But like um ninjas weren't technically built, they weren't created for warfare. They're mostly created for they're basically spies. They can be spies. They don't really engage in combat unless they have to. So but yeah.
Speed, aggression and surprise, the way they move with silence and stealth and in small teams, it's still very much the same.
Now they're facing the greatest fight in their history. At stake is their very existence, and they'll need everything they've got to survive. This is the incredible story of the ninjas of Iga and their extraordinary rise to become an indispensable part of the Japanese military machine.
Some of those weren't ninjas either in the intro video there. Some of those were samurai. So the samurai is basically like an upper class version of the ninja. Samurais are basically more respected than ninjas. Ninjas were like more of they were like the secret agents. So if you want to find this video on YouTube, it's called Ninja the Shadow Warriors of Feudal Japan, Ancient Black Ops, and it's on the channel Chronicle, Medieval History Documentary. So
It's 1562,
I guess I'll leave a link in the description.
and Japan is in the grip of a civil war that's lasted over 100 years. Warlords and their militias roam the countryside in a rampage of destruction that's tearing the country apart. In the wilds of central Japan, a year-long campaign is culminating in a siege. And the prize for the attacker is Kaminojo Castle. Determined to take it is an ambitious young warlord.
Look, back then, the place where people lived were like easier to break in. There was no cameras and stuff, not like modern technology. So the ninjas really prevailed back then. As if like the reason I think the art is practiced today, but it's not exercised in the same way that it was like in the 1800s. So I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like
called Tokugawa Ieyasu. But he's facing a serious problem. Because inside the castle are his daughters. And they'll be killed if he attacks. Years earlier, he agreed to send them to Kaminojo in a peace deal. It's standard procedure in a country where no one trusts anyone. Now, he badly needs to go back on the deal.
With warlords fighting against each other, allegiances were quite often made and broken at a moment's notice. It was recognised very early on that a hostage system would help keep allegiances. That as long as they behaved and followed the rules, the families would be kept safe. If they broke the rules, the families would be executed, and it was a great way of keeping control.
Despite his massive army, Ieyasu has had his hands tied for over a year. He can't touch the castle. But Ieyasu is smart, and he's contacted a uniquely gifted fighter, a specialist called Hattori Hanzo. And Hanzo is known for one thing: unconventional warfare. Hattori Hanzo is the leader of the finest special forces in the Japanese world. They are experts at a secret martial art called shinobi. Much like
I'm gonna do a separate video on shinobi versus ninja, so there's a slight difference. So
later, they will be known as ninja.
Ninja is actually a very modern term. But back in the 1500s, they were known as shinobi no mono, shadow warrior. The ninja were renowned for never being spotted and being invisible and having magic powers.
The shinobi warrior of the 1500s is so skilled, he is regarded almost as a supernatural being. But just like today's special forces, he's developed a unique set of tactics. To solve problems on the battlefield, conventional troops can't. And the ninja's particular talent is for intelligence gathering and infiltration.
The samurai army needed spies and it needed commandos. So ninja would develop these skills. They spy and they do commando infiltration raids. And these were needed for frontline troops or for information gathering.
So right now, they're talking about how ninjas are spies. So the basics of a ninja is to observe, spy, predict, and stop danger. So, and how I use it for today, like you can like I've shown a keen interest in evil psychology as it relates to like dating and stuff. So I've been doing some videos on that. So I can actually apply that towards dating or like just dealing with people in general. So like to observe means to basically just watch. Like you don't necessarily have to ask questions, just watch, see how people move. Because when people talk, they don't really do what they say. Just watch their actions. You can actually collect data. Like this is why a lot of people say, "Oh, you're well traveled." Like the more you travel, the more data you can collect. So, and that brings me to the next point is to spy. So spying doesn't necessarily mean you're creeping. It just means you're collecting intelligence. Is what ninjas used to do. Sometimes they were just there, in and out. They were to collect intelligence. So like, if they were hired to go do reconnaissance to see what a family, how many daughters there are, how many mistresses there are, they would just collect it, or how many guards they had, stuff like that. So they would collect intelligence like that, data, and they would use it to my next point would be to predict. So if you can identify people's patterns and their habits, you can predict the future. You can predict their future. So, it's the same with dating. So, like, your past does matter because you're most likely to repeat it if you don't change your habits. So, if you don't change your habits, you're going to repeat your past. Um, and then stop danger. So, this is where you predict your future. So, don't get involved with people that have bad habits, who have a bad past, and then you'll basically escape danger. So that's the way ninjas did it. So, like, if they knew, like, if they had an army of samurai, they would come back. Like if they had an army of samurai, it's like just coming in and out of the gates at a certain time, they wouldn't go infiltrate a structure or a house at that time. They would wait um, until a holiday or something, or like after dark. So just simple stuff like that, man. You can avoid dangers, and that's what they did. So, and that's kind of what I do with my everyday life. So, you don't want to be too repetitive. Every day is you don't want to be too boring, especially in modern society. We don't live in like wartime every single day. So, um, yeah, that's usually how I navigate my everyday life. I always every time I walk into a room, I survey the room, how many people there are. Um, is there a back door? Is if we were to get trapped inside, are we on the top floor? Are we on the middle floor? Can I scale down the building? If there's a fire, which way is the best way out? Elevators, does the elevator look old? Are there stairs? Stuff like that. It's really simple stuff like that that people don't really think about. So, is there a escape hatch on the roof? Stuff like that. Yeah.
And there's another reason why Hattori Hanzo and his ninja are so highly prized. Japanese armies are run by an officer class of samurai. At the heart of their combat training is a strict code of gentlemanly honor. And the one thing they won't touch are dirty tricks. What we call black ops.
If you're a ninja with a sword and you are fighting, you're in combat with a samurai with a spear, that is tricky because if you ever sparred with somebody with a spear, it is not easy to evade with a spear because it takes little to no effort to attack with a spear, especially if you're like if you're trying to impale the body. So obviously the spear has more length. So that's you gotta have more tricks up your sleeve when you're a ninja. So
Assassination, murder, and sabotage.
The ninja were very much the unconventional warfare experts, which any army needs. Samurai
yeah. I think about war every single day. Not just not like not like war between like countries and stuff. I'm talking about like the stuff that goes through my head. What's gonna happen if somebody approaches me in a confliction manner? Like, um, I think about ways to incapacitate somebody. Um, I think about like if somebody is having road rage, there is a chance that they will have firearms in the back. So if I were to get in conflict with somebody on the road, I would immediately take them out before they had a chance to reach their gun. So I think about really small stuff like that. And if they were get to the gun, how would I evade? So ninja tactics are about evading too. So they're expert in evasion.
honor precluded them from doing certain tasks that they saw beneath them. The ninja didn't follow the same code of honor and were able to effectively achieve what the samurai could not.
Hanzo and his ninja are the best in the business. He even has a track record in one particular area of shinobi. He's an old hand at penetrating castles and freeing hostages. Iyasu doesn't take much persuading to sign the ninja up. And there's just one order. Rescue my daughters.
Now Ieyasu saw the immense capability of Hattori Hanzo as the commander, the general for the ninja, and he brought him in as one of his generals. And as one of his generals, he was feared, and he became known as Devil Hanzo.
Hattori Hanzo now starts an intelligence gathering operation that will
Okay, so I was just gonna say, so I know ninjas, it just really depends on how urgent the mission is, but they will not enter a facility or at the enemy's ground or whatever when there's a full moon because the full moon acts as like a light in the sky, and that is the worst time to infiltrate whatever you're trying to do. So, but look, notice how there's no moon or anything. So,
decide his strategy. To do that, he'll draw to the full on his shinobi skills. But the mission and his options are familiar to operatives everywhere. Tactics that are routine today were pioneered by the Shadow Warriors 500 years ago.
The ninjas have developed a series of tactics that are almost universal, and they haven't really evolved or changed much. There's little marginal improvements here and there, and technology comes into it in different weapon systems. The essential elements are still very much the same. Speed, aggression and surprise. The way they move with silence and stealth and in small teams, it's still very much the same.
One man who knows all about the problems facing Hattori Hanzo's ninjas at Kaminojo is Jason Williams. Now living in Japan, he fought for 5 years in Iraq and Afghanistan with the SAS. And that presented intelligence-gathering challenges that are very familiar to Hattori Hanzo. Getting good information boils down to a handful of options.
You're usually going into an enemy complex or an enemy building, maybe an enemy compound. There are two ways of doing it. You can do a long-term operation or you can do a short-term. Long-term means more of a sleeper cell approach. You'll be going in maybe a few years before you even get any information out. It's a very long-term operation and there's a lot more risk to the individual who's involved and a lot more stress on them.
By the time he's approached by Ieyasu, Hanzo has already put in a sleeper cell of ninjas who have been undercover, posing as civilians living near the castle. It's a
Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention. Ninjutsu is about blending in too as well. So I posted a picture yesterday. And it makes no sense because I was dressed up in a ninja outfit, right? So people would give me shit for that because you're like, how are you supposed to blend in when you're wearing a ninja outfit in a pure day? So a lot of times I don't even like. First for the record, I'm not a ninja. I just practice the ninja art. So, not an actual ninja. Not gonna claim to be. I do it as a joke sometimes. So, you want to blend in. So the way you blend in is to look like a regular person. So we are in like 2025. I'm running around like a ninja. That's not blending in. So, a lot of times, I'll try to dress in like when I'm doing my videos and stuff. So unless I'm doing a certain video where I need to dress up like a ninja, but like when you practice ninjutsu amongst like regular people, you kind of have to wear regular clothes or at least clothes that you would train in, like everyday training clothes. You wouldn't dress up like a ninja. And my mission isn't to infiltrate or like get information for anybody. My mission is to be fit for a long period of time and have the best quality life possible going into my 60s and 70s and above if I get that far in age. So that is the purpose of me training in ninjutsu and other martial arts. So yeah, so it's called the art invisibility. It's you practice the art of invisibility. Doesn't mean you're invisible. Just means you're not noticed. So people don't know what the hell I'm doing. If I ran around like a ninja with swords, attack people, I'm obviously gonna get the cops called on me. I had cops calling me one time. Well, we won't talk about that. But yeah.
classic shinobi tactic. When hostilities start hotting up, the Lord of Kaminojo starts hiring local men, not realizing who they are. And the ninja sleeper cell walks right into the castle unopposed.
When their lord would start to invade, the ninja would get hired into his retinue. This meant that the ninja was on the inside of the enemy.
I'm gonna speed this up. I'm gonna make this go a little bit quicker. Let's go 125.
While he's using his spies on the inside, just like special forces today, Hanzo sends commandos on a reconnaissance mission to assess the target's defenses.
You can set up what we call a CTR, close target recce. You get as much information about the complex and around that area as possible. And then once you've done that, you can either go inside or you can withdraw.
History Hit is an award-winning streaming platform built by history fans for history fans. Be sure to use the code CHRONICLE.
Information about the target, he can build his strategy. He decides to climb the walls of the castle alone, while his commando support will wait for a signal. Then, he'll go on into the complex in a solo snatch operation. As soon as the princesses are safe, the sleeper agents on the inside will signal for the attack to start. With forces on the inside and outside, it will be a pincer operation. And Hanzo is ready to go. It is now vital to ensure the timing is right, and all conditions favor the ninja.
Now, normally, a ninja did not infiltrate in the full moon.
Notice, like, I mean, obviously these are actors and stuff. Notice how like their facial expressions are always serious. Like, it's, I think people need to understand the difference between serious and focused. So they're like, this is kind of like how I used to get shit all the time for not smiling a lot, but like, it's not that I wasn't happy or like depressed or anything. I was just focused every time. I was always focused on my environment, and a lot of people got kind of like the wrong impression. So um, it's not that I'm serious all the time. It's just that I'm focused. So I kind of live by that, um, and that's why I'm able to pick up on a lot of things that people don't really see. So.
He'd wait till 8 days after the moon or 8 days before the moon, so it was darker, and he'd wear dark clothes.
Using tried and tested ninja techniques, Hanzo now rises up the castle walls.
He'd use iron spikes, and he'd place spikes in the castle wall, and he'd climb all the way up to the top.
Once at the top, the ninja starts to saw through the walls using special shinobi tools.
This is a type of saw called a shikoro. It was used for making larger holes in clay or wooden walls. Usually so a ninja could climb through. In ancient Japan it was standard kit for breaking into houses.
And then on the inside of the clay walls, they'd have a crisscross of bamboo. He'd cut out a section, he'd go inside.
But scaling walls in total silence and secrecy is the easy part. Hanzo must now move unseen through a castle full of soldiers waiting for him.
Now, once inside, he'd wait. He would be waiting for the people to come along with torches on patrol.
Hanzo's ninja skills allow him to elude detection completely. But he can't afford to relax. He knows the enemy will have prepared for him.
He has to be careful because their dark patrol comes past. These are the people without torches. They would be looking for ninjas.
Sleeper agents meet Hanzo to direct him to the royal apartments. After that, he's on his own. The ninja must now overcome sentries and make his way deep into the castle complex. Once again, he turns to classic shinobi techniques to fell his enemies. With the guards
Yo, that's why you don't talk when you're on watch, man. Like you gotta watch your man's back, man. Like how did you not see him come behind him like that? Like so there's techniques on how to sneak up on people. Obviously, walk with your heel first. Like it's very I would say it's very general knowledge. Walking on the back of your heels and then just like kind of like rolling to the front of your foot. because the footsteps are very easy, especially in like in castles like this where there's brick walls and stuff. You can hear the echoes, but obviously he didn't hear him. So
Dispatched, Hanzo must seize the hostages. As planned, the ninja double agents signal to Hanzo's commandos and Iyasu's samurai by starting fires on the inside of the castle. The commandos penetrate the defenses as Iyasu's conventional forces overwhelm the castle. The hostages are smuggled out in the mayhem.
This operation is a classic example of ninja technique. Being able to infiltrate the enemy's positions, influence what went on, and to attack from within. Classic shinobi.
Hanzo's success not only confirms his reputation, but that of his fearsome homeland, now acknowledged as the region with the best ninja in Japan. It's a place of mists. On a high mountain plateau cut off from the rest of the country, its people are different, fierce mountain folk with proud, independent spirits. Its name is Iga.
it's Iga, not IGA, like the grocery store. Iga.
Ninja were mainly hired from Iga. The Iga people were known as the best ninja. They would go across all of Japan and they would present themselves to their lords and say, I'm a ninja, I'm from Iga, I'm trained in the arts of ninjutsu. Then the lord would hire them.
The ninja or shinobi skills practiced by the men of Iga have been developed over centuries of warfare. They draw together the extreme physical power of the martial artist, the swordsmanship of the samurai warrior, with tactical expertise from ancient China and the writings of the Chinese master military strategist Sun Tzu. And it's in the rural hinterlands and highland villages where shinobi is perfected. Living in Iga means surviving a harsh mountain climate. And by the time a ninja starts his training, he's already tough. But to be allowed to become a shinobi warrior...
There is a movie. Let me see if I can share the screen here on what he's talking about. There's a movie that's very close. Share this tab. Ooh, can you guys see that? Yeah, so Shinobi Heart Under Blade. So there is this is a good movie portraying the Iga clans. Like, it's very good. Basically two clans going at war with each other. This is one of my favorite movies when it comes to this because they do display magic and stuff. Obviously some of the stuff isn't real, but like yeah, they'll show you, man, the action in that movie is good. Basically you had like they put romance in it too, like two warriors from each clan fall in love and then they must go to war with each other. So what the fudge? But yeah, that's a good movie. Hattori Hanzo, the whole thing is in the whole storyline that they're talking about in this documentary is in that movie. So I might have to watch that again. I've watched like 20,000 times, man. But yeah. So we'll get back to the video. And we just lost the screen. All right.
warrior, he must go through a series of brutal tests.
The ninja needed to survive in a huge variety of environments, whether on operations or intelligence gathering. And they trained for that by enduring exposure and low temperatures at high altitude.
Wait, what did he say?
And low to survive. The ninja needed to survive in a huge variety of environments, whether on operations or intelligence gathering. And they train for that by enduring exposure and low temperatures at high altitude.
All right, so I'm glad you brought this up. Oh man. So people like when winter comes around, this is why I'd rather live in the Midwest, because the temperatures get low, but not like too low. And I train in low temperatures, I train in snow, I train in rain. Actually, when it gets cold out there, I want to see how much my body can endure. So the reason I do that is to train to because you take that into the real world, you're not going to be able to control certain elements. So you want to be able to adapt fairly quickly, so you're not left behind. And the more that you can withhold pain in certain circumstances, the better that, or the easier that your life will be. So it's the same with stress. So uh, the more you can handle stress, the more situations you can overcome. So obviously, the human experience is full of situations that are pretty challenging. So you don't really get through an entire lifetime without experiencing tough times. So if you do, it's very rare. So that is the reason why I train in high or low temp weather. I even train in higher temp weather, man. I can go like an hour and a half training in 80-degree weather without actually hydrating. So I can do that without stroking out. Um, Obviously, you want to measure your pain tolerance. You don't want to go out there and do what I'm doing without like years of training, because it took me years and years to get up to that point. So you have to allow your body to adapt to that situation, because it would just be like drinking a bunch of caffeine after you've tried it for a month and then getting a heart attack. You got to build some endurance. You got to build some immunity to whatever you're doing. So
Like special forces today, constant training in mountain survival is at the core of the making of an effective operative.
All the soldiers have to go through a process which would involve testing their individual fitness in lone, isolated marches in mountainous terrain. Then their personal skills would be tested to the utmost. They'd be isolated in a combat survival environment where they'd be exposed in a wilderness with minimum supplies.
As part of his training, the ninja must learn to live off the land for an indefinite period.
The ninja were experts in optimizing their diet so they could resist the cold and hunger. They developed a special ration pack, and just one would keep them going for up to 3 days. A lot of the ninja's art is really about survival and endurance.
It isn't just physical demands that the trained ninja has to learn to cope with.
survival and endurance. So as somebody who practices ninjutsu, um, it's weird because I do almost, god dang it. I do a lot of things that make my life difficult, like take the stairs. I don't touch elevators. What else do I do? Trying to think all the tough things that I do. Uh, can't really think, but everything. Like I'll run long distances. You don't really have to do that. I'll run. I'll wear boots when I train. Uh, trying to do the harder things to improve your quality of life, to where you like say like I wear pants and weighted clothing. Once you take it off, you start to feel a little bit of relief. So you don't want I don't like to get too used to the uh the qualities of like the things that modern technology has improved our life with. I try not to get too accustomed to that. So one thing is processed food. So once you start eating processed foods, got like sugar in it stuff, like it starts tasting good. So once you start eating the healthy stuff, it doesn't taste that good. So this is why the West is experiencing an obesity problem, like heart disease and all this other crap. So um you know what's funny? It took me 2 years getting off of sugar for sugar to stop tasting good to me. So I hate the taste of cookies, cake. I don't even touch cake, ice cream, or none of that stuff anymore. Like it's so gross. Like I just can't. I can't stomach it anymore. So, which is a good thing. It's not the type of stuff I want to get used to. So, but yeah.
The entire point of a ninja's training was about endurance. He had to endure mental problems. He would be in the enemy's land, and he had to train himself to not break under pressure.
The people of Iga mostly worship nature spirits and follow Shintoism, a religious practice focused on the natural world. For an undercover ninja, becoming one with nature is a perfect training for blending in with the environment.
A ninja is a specialist of blending with...
Make sure you guys share the video, or let people know if they are like into this kind of stuff. Let me know, because I would like to collab with people who do a certain type of martial arts. So I do wushu, capoeira, ninjutsu. Obviously, I started doing Muay Thai. I already said wushu. Obviously, I practice with every weapon I can get a hold on. Trying to get in contact with people that want to do short films, chase scenes. Obviously, I do parkour. Um, yeah, I'm trying to reach out to people. It's really hard to do that in the Midwest. Like a lot of people don't really do content creation here in the Midwest like I do. So I might have to start navigating south because they're warmer climates. People are outside doing stuff all the time. So, but yeah, it's funny.
the surrounding is the ultimate expression of what, in a way, Shintoism is all about. It's about achieving utmost harmony with the environment. So a ninja would disappear to the eyes of the common viewer because he managed to become almost sort of seamlessly connected to the nature around it.
Just like the ninja in
One thing that like in dating, we always hear like the women always prefer somebody who's like 6 feet and above. So I'm 5'9". So when you're tall, you get a lot of attention. Like everybody gravitates you because you're taller than everybody. So like people are like 6'1" and above is like 17% of the population. So like me being like the average height, which is like 5'9", people just like they don't know this. They don't know that I'm there. So it's not an attention grabber. Like I'm not too short and I'm not too tall. So I actually like my height because I don't want attention that I really don't need. So but I thought that was a good um point.
16th century Japan, today's special forces, like the Navy SEALs or the SAS, have an advanced training in camouflage and concealment.
The ability to blend in with your surroundings is an essential skill. If you're in any natural area in countryside.
For my content purposes, I don't want to be camouflaged. Actually, I try my best to be noticed because of the way that the camera picks up light. So I don't want to be too blended in. Otherwise, the camera's not going to focus. So if you get what I'm saying.
You're always aware of how people are looking at you or where they're going to be looking at you from.
The SAS, like the ninja, have a sense of concealment drilled into them, so it becomes instinctive when operating covertly. Shape, shine, shadow, and silhouette are a constant concern.
There's shape. There's not many round shapes in nature or perfectly straight lines. Then there's shine, the bridge of your nose, your forehead, any metal on your weapon. You want to eliminate any shadow coming from yourself. If you're on a ridge line, you should avoid silhouetting yourself. Be mindful of your footfall. Leave no sign. Don't cause disturbances. You know, if there's a branch on the floor, don't snap it or brush up against tree branches.
You know, it's funny. It's not what he described, how they move is not general knowledge. Like people are just so loud. They have no idea how much attention they grab. Like I see it every day. Like people are just like every sudden movement is going to attract attention. So um every time I walk into a room, I hold the door behind me. Like if it's a door that swings and closes, like it doesn't even have to be a loud swing, a loud close, but I make sure that door does not make a sound when I close it. So I don't know, it's a habit. So nobody even knows that I walk into a room. I don't breathe loud. I don't walk loud, and I don't stare at people. So I'm always looking straight ahead. Like I'm looking in the direction that I'm walking in. I don't really look around. Like I don't swing my head because that grabs attention. So it's really small things like that. A lot of times when I walk into a room, I don't want to be noticed. So This is it's it's very interesting. It's more of a mentality thing. Like I don't want to grab anyone's attention if I don't have to.
Over several centuries, the ninja rise to become an indispensable part of the Japanese military machine as intelligence gatherers and operational agents. Like the best security and special forces of the modern era, they're never satisfied, constantly upping their game and devising new strategies and techniques to gain advantage. But now, 17 years after the siege at Kaminojo Castle, the eager ninja face their biggest danger yet. It's a gigantic army, rolling through the country, crushing all it encounters. And it's led by a cruel overlord, known for his love of extreme violence. He's a genocidal megalomaniac, with a reputation unmatched in all of Japan's bloody history. Oda Nobunaga.
Japan has a very bloody history, man. I'll say if we went back to the way we used to do it, where we were less civilized, man, there wouldn't be no 50-50 in dating. Like women would quickly choose a man who is probably the most masculine and most powerful man. So we don't do that these days. So that's kind of why dating is in a shadow.
Naga is bent on one thing: absolute power.
Nobunaga's plan was to unify all of Japan, and that was his one goal. So nobody was spared from his forces or his army. This is what he was going to do.
Oda Nobunaga is single-minded, cold, calculating, and disciplined, and he crushes all resistance with utter ruthlessness. The trouble is, the eager don't bow down to anyone.
In the late 1500s, the ninjas had a serious problem. Nobunaga
Anyone watching this video, shout out your favorite movie, your favorite ninja movie if you got one.
needed complete and total obedience, and they refused to give it.
Two opposing forces are on a collision course. Neither is used to giving way, and a devastating confrontation is inevitable.
The only solution Nobunaga had was to invade, and he did so with a vengeance.
To tame the ninjas of Iga, Nobunaga sends in his toughest samurai. Crack troops, hardened by decades of bloodletting. The orders are to spare no one. But he makes one fatal error. He appoints a general who is completely unsuited to the job. That general is his son, Nobukatsu. Nobukatsu has no experience. Not just that, he's impetuous and undisciplined. It's about the way.
Oh yeah, undisciplined ninja samurai, man, that's not a good thing because you act on emotion typically if you're unexperienced. So you want to act on logic and reason.
Worst combination of qualities a military leader could have. And he makes a host of errors. One of the worst is to underestimate his enemy. He thinks the code of honor of his samurai gentlemen cannot fail against people he dismisses as a bunch of eager peasants.
Right from the beginning, Nobukatsu made some basic mistakes. He utilized warfare in a samurai mentality. He didn't recognize that you needed special forces. His biggest mistake was not using ninja of his own.
Without intelligence from ninja spies, Nobukatsu charges blindly into enemy territory. From that, three fatal flaws in his strategy emerge.
He didn't prepare properly. He didn't get the lay of the land, and he chose a direct route without doing any reconnaissance.
It's a serious blunder. Nobukatsu is entering unknown territory. And what he doesn't know is that Iga is unlike any other place in Japan.
Iga has a river running through the middle called the Hattori, and on certain days the whole valley is thick with the mist. Sometimes Iga can seem like a hidden world, shrouded in mist and fog.
Nobukatsu's samurai now enter narrow gorges with no idea of what's waiting for them. Suddenly, in front of them, is the last person Nobukatsu and his troops want to see. It's Hattori, the Devil, Hanzo. Just at that moment, the weather closes in.
Fog suddenly filled the valley, and this is where the ninja do what they do best. They got down close and personal. They attacked from the sides and from the back, infiltrating the ranks of the samurai, causing chaos. So much chaos, in fact, that the samurai began to cut each other down, not knowing who the enemy was.
It's an ambush that's textbook ninja, drawing the samurai into unfamiliar terrain and destroying them with tactics they're completely unprepared for. It has disastrous consequences for the invaders. Nobukatsu's bodyguards.
Man, see, this is my opinion, man. So, like, and back when they were doing those sword fights and stuff, like that had been a sucky way to die, because with gunfire, if you get shot anywhere in your vital organs or in the head or like a heart, chest, or whatever, you die instantly. With in a sword fight, you actually experience pain for long periods of time before they kill you. So like if like for me, I wouldn't always go for the kill. I would try to disarm them first. So I would probably go for a hand. I would disarm them from their swords, their weapons, because if you go for a kill, if you go for the body, you have to leave yourself open for their attack. So you kind of want to you want to knock off their limbs, because their limbs are more in the open. So if you go for the body, you're kind of like more, you're getting closer to their space. So you don't automatically die right away. So that's the difference between a sword battle and a gun fight, because you're further away. Once you get shot, you're pretty much dead if they shoot you in obviously in the body or the head. So it's kind of a, that must have been, see, and this is why I took ninja seriously. Like I didn't really subscribe to the whole comedy. People thought it was funny to be a ninja. Like people like want to make jokes, because like the stuff that they did was very serious and like bloody, had very bloody battles. So I had very independent thinking when I saw some of these movies that were like kind of being a parody of ninjas and stuff. Like it's my mind went somewhere else. Like, man, this stuff had to hurt. Like I've actually cut myself with my own sword, so I know what the gashes look like. Luckily, I didn't lose a limb or anything. But like when you slice somebody with a sword, it's probably the worst thing to look at. Like it's not a pretty sight.
Are cut to pieces. Now the general must stand alone against the ninja and account for himself.
And in that chaos, Nobukatsu made a run for it. And he was the only one to survive a complete massacre.
The defeat sends shockwaves through the country. The almost total annihilation of Nobunaga's finest samurai goes down as one of the ninja's greatest triumphs. But it will also unleash forces that will test the men of Iga as never before. Within days, the ninja spy network reports Nobunaga mustering the biggest army Japan has ever seen. Columns are streaming from every region with one order: destroy Iga. The ninja know they can't defeat so huge an army, and there is only one solution. Nobunaga must be assassinated.
Obviously, this was before bombs and stuff. So like I would say like this. What was this like? This like the mid late 1800s, early 1900s. I gotta look at that. I gotta look that up when they started creating cannons because in Shinobi they had bombs and stuff. So maybe they didn't show bombs in this because these just weren't the battles they had bombs and stuff. But I'm pretty sure they had explosives and stuff at this time. So
There's only one shinobi warrior who can do the job. Born into a powerful Iga clan, the ninja Ishikawa Goemon has every reason to want to kill Nobunaga personally.
oh, he's doing the thing. Oh, I got a little bit of something to say about that.
His whole family was murdered by Nobunaga's forces, and getting revenge has been his life's ambition. The job of killing Nobunaga will go down as the toughest assignment ever faced by a ninja assassin. The warlord is constantly surrounded by a crack force of bodyguards and employs ninja killers himself from the Iga's rivals. He has a highly skilled network of spies adept at infiltrating and extracting information throughout Japan. Nobunaga knows that the Iga are almost certainly plotting to kill him, and he's convinced he's ready for them. But the Iga spy network manages to secure some crucial information. The only time Nobunaga lets his guard down is when he's in his heavily fortified castle. Goemon's only chance is to infiltrate the castle and, using double agents on the inside, assassinate the warlord himself in the royal apartments. Ninja Black Ops techniques are at the height of development, and their armory boasts a massive array of weapons and technology unmatched anywhere. Goemon now has everything put at his disposal.
The ninja had something called the art of fire, and they used gunpowder for everything from signaling to explosions and lighting effects. And they were masters at vanishing behind smoke screens.
But Goemon knows that Nobunaga is fully aware of the ninja's specialist tools and tactics. To kill the overlord, he's going to have to surprise Nobunaga and think laterally. He decides to use poison. But it has to be done in a truly novel way.
There's different ways to use poison. You can either go in a house as someone's guest and you can poison the people there. One manual tells us to use strychnine, and they would mix it with cakes and they would give it to people that way.
Goemon knows poisoned
Okay, so this is gonna be kind of shady, but so they use poisons different types of ways. So like this is like subconsciously what I do. Like I really don't. It's really hard for me to go into someone else's house and eat food. One thing that, like, if you're a female, never accept a drink from somebody that you haven't seen them make the drink. So you never know when they could be, putting some extra shit in it. So, like, it's kind of like a habit of mine. I don't like to eat other people's food for some reason. I don't know what that is, but like maybe I don't know if it's I don't trust them or if I just want to get food that's more familiar. So like I have like kind of a diet. So like there's certain foods I eat and what I don't. So when someone offers me food that I'm not used to eating, I don't really eat food. So and it's funny because people accept free stuff all the time, not me. And but yeah, that's just kind of I guess it's just one of those things that I do. I don't know if it's related to my my training, but like it's just something I do. And another, I don't think he's gonna mention it in this, but sometimes they would put poison on their weapons. Ninjas would definitely poison you if they, made if they attacked you with one of their weapons. They had poison on it, so you would die later on if you were to get away. So that's one thing I don't think they're gonna mention.
Cakes won't work. Nobunaga keeps a retinue of food tasters precisely to protect him from this threat. The ninja needs something more cunning.
They did something called well poisoning. They take the poisonous part of a puffer fish and they mix it with excrement or lead and arsenic. And they would drop this into the enemy's well.
Once again,
That is shady.
Naga's tasters would detect poisoned water well before it reached the Overlord's lips. Goemon realizes he must deliver the toxin to Nobunaga personally, and he'll only get one shot. He turns to a substance that remains today one of the most toxic in the world. It's called Wolfsbane. A couple of drops will kill an adult in...
I know Wolfsbane because of the originals and like the Vampire Diaries and stuff. Like that's the first time I've ever heard of Wolfsbane.
minutes. There is no antidote. Victims die writhing in agony. Now Goemon must craft his method of delivery, and he only has the tools and materials of his remote mountain community. Fortunately, the ninja are masters at repurposing everyday items into weapons.
One of the things that the ninja were very good at was adaptation and using anything at their disposal as a weapon. Now, the word weapon can tend to get people quite narrow-minded.
Oh yeah, that's true. I use everything as a weapon. It's weird because I'll pick up a lamp or a sock or something. And I'll pretend it's a weapon. I'll pretend it's a gun, some sort of something I can protect myself with. So Jackie Chan was very good at this. He would use his surroundings to distract or use it as a weapon. I do like Jackie Chan. I like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, Donnie Yen. But yeah, Jackie Chan was one of my favorites because he used his surroundings. So like if you know your surroundings, you can easily either evade or get the upper hand on your opponent. So like a pen. A pen can be used as a weapon. And let's say this pen didn't really have a point. So you could actually throw this weapon, or you could throw this pen in another direction, blindside your opponent real quick, and then get the upper hand. So that's what they used to do with Shuriken too. Like they didn't really the ninja stars, they didn't really it wasn't the objective to hit them with the ninja star. They would just use it as a distraction. They would throw it and then catch them off guard, get them look away or something, and then they got the final blow with a sword or with another attack or something. So it's very simple stuff like that. So you can actually it's what the government does. They would distract you with some kind of some catastrophe or something to get you to look another way, to get the media looking another way, report on that while they're doing something behind the scenes. So the government will do that in a way. So,
but the ninja thought of weapons as more as tools, and that allowed them to be very adaptable and very flexible.
Ninjas were recruited from relatively low-income part of the population. They were accustomed to use very basic tools connected to agricultural activities, so most of the weapons resembled tools that you would find, in a garden or something like that.
A traditional sickle in the hands of a ninja, for instance, has multiple uses in a combat situation.
This is called a kusarigama. Eager farmers cut hay with it, but the ninja used it as a weapon in two ways. First, the ninja would throw the iron weight at the end of the chain so it wrapped around the legs of the enemy. When he fell, the ninja would attack him with the blade. Very effective.
yeah, that's a kama. So they actually have that in the movie Shinobi. He uses that, man, and the chain is a lot longer than that. That movie is, the way he displayed that in that movie, man, I thought nobody was gonna kill him. But yeah, it's obviously a short range weapon, but with that chain, it actually extends it. So I tried to do that with 2 commas, it just didn't work out. But it does work if you have like a heavy object on the end of a chain. So that is something that I did with the sword too. So I would tie a rope on the end of a sword and use that. I do that in a couple of my videos, so it's very interesting. Obviously, this is an outdated weapon, but that's what they used back then. Hell, every weapon that I use is pretty much outdated. But like, if anybody doesn't know this, like the sword was the most powerful weapon before firearms. So
Goemon's plan is now ready. He's going to put the Wolfsbane into Nobunaga's mouth in a way no one's ever thought of. But before he goes into action, there's one more vital element for the ninja's attack.
In the chaos of battle, fear is the greatest enemy, and the ninja learnt from a very early stage that fear is something to be embraced. And so quite often before an operation, they would begin a meditation. They would meditate on the fact that they had no home, no family.
Hold on. I'm gonna go back. So what he's gonna explain is it's kind of like a pre-ritual. Everybody does it. People that are high achievers will do this. Look at LeBron James. What he does on the bench before he plays a game, he meditates. It could be something you do before a fight. You could say a prayer or something. It's a pre-ritual. It's a pre-ritual before you before you commit an act, which could be which could cost you your life or something like that. So like you want to this is one of the things that you'll see in some of these anime that they do. They kind of make fun of it, but like it's a real thing to get you into a mindset of focus and understanding that your life could be in danger. So you do like even though you're getting ready for a dangerous mission, you got to understand that the chances of you dying is going to be pretty high. So the more focused you are, the more likely you're going to survive. So, and you want to make good decisions. So you want to have your place, and you want to be very calm before going into. You don't want to go into a battle with a high intensity of fear. So, but that's kind of what he's going to explain here.
Fear is the greatest enemy, and the ninja learnt from a very early stage that fear is something to be embraced. And so quite often before an operation, they would begin a meditation.
Yeah, fear keeps you alive too. You got to have some kind of a resistance, because without fear, man, you're going to make some stupid mistakes. So
they would meditate on the fact that they had no home, no family, no friends, no country. All they had was themselves, their weapons, and their spirit. And this was so that they could act completely without distraction.
Goemon turns to his spiritual training of Shintoism to prepare his mind for the assignment. He uses an ancient practice that hones concentration and produces complete psychological detachment from fear. It's called Kuji-kiri.
Kuji-kiri is one of the ninja spiritual arts. A ninja would summon 9 concepts with his hands to make his mind strong. Their power, energy, harmony, healing, intuition, awareness, force, creation, zen.
Goemon has submitted himself utterly to the protection of his spiritual guides, and his mind is in peak readiness. Now he must go in. In classic style, Goemon makes himself virtually invisible.
all right, let's go.
As he closes in on Nobunaga's apartments. Double agents working on the warlord's staff have given him the information he needs to navigate his way to the target. Once inside the apartment complex, he maneuvers himself to a space above the royal bedchamber. Ninja agents in the castle have drilled a tiny hole in the ceiling and positioned the royal bed so that the target's head is directly beneath it.
Yo, that's gonna be creepy, man. Like, what if this dude woke up and saw a ninja above you, man? Like, dude, I'd be scared as shit. This thing is knocked out.
Now the ninja applies the wolfsbane to the string.
Oh, kind of poison. Get that in the mouth, good.
But just as he's delivering the lethal dose,
Oh, he woke his ass up.
Nobunaga wakes.
Oh!
Goemon knows he's failed.
No, now, we must go now.
He now must escape the only way he can.
When a ninja wanted to escape, he could do a few things. Normally, they would have caltrops. Now, caltrops are small balls of iron with spikes moving out, and he'd position these in certain places where he knew the enemy would chase him. So those pursuers would stand on it, falling over.
Oh, man.
Goemon has slowed his pursuers, but he's still not safe. If the samurai bodyguards catch up with him, he's dead. Now he has to reach for another tool in the ninja system. It's time for the shuriken.
手裏剣なんですね。だからこれ
The
は
ninja would use
Let me see. Oh, so remember before I was talking about he was going to use shuriken to, it's not really to kill your opponents or to injure them, it's to distract them. So I'm going to see if he is going to explain it that way.
shuriken like this when they were on the run from the enemy. They're secretly held and used in an extreme situation. They throw them at the enemy like this.
Oh, never mind. I guess if he probably doesn't have an unlimited shuriken, so he can't just use them as distraction. He has to actually land it. So I'm thinking like if I had a bunch of it on me, I would use some as a distraction. So, but obviously there's more people. So if there's more people chasing after you, then you gotta kind of use it to defend yourself with instead of throwing them away. But like if it's just one opponent, then I would use one to distract an opponent and then get him with the sword. So.
Gorman may have failed, but the assassination attempt is a textbook example of shinobi ingenuity. Adapting simple everyday objects to lethal effect. Nobunaga now goes on the warpath against the ninjas of Iga with violent determination. He takes personal command of his massive army and launches it against the whole region. Unlike his son Nobukatsu, he uses ninjas who are Hanzo's deadliest rivals. He gives only one order: spare no one.
もう具体的に言うと
Nobunaga was completely cold-blooded. He ordered his soldiers to kill everyone in Iga. Women, children, or monks. They were all slaughtered, regardless.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, they used to do that back then.
The killing made the Iga ninjas scatter across Japan.
It's a bloodletting that remains notorious in Japan.
I don't. Typically, they wouldn't kill. They would kill the men and the children, but they would keep the women to propagate a society. So, a lot of times they would keep the women around as long as they were like attractive or somewhat attractive. So, they wouldn't just kill the women like that. They would usually just take them and bear children with them. So,
Japanese history.
and that's another thing that's kind of. Now, obviously, it's going to be different with Japan culture back then, but like in Evil Psych, the women. So the women had a choice. So if their men were killed, if their children were killed, they would have to submit to their captives to stay alive. Otherwise, they would kill them off. So that was just that's how women survived back in the day. So they would have to leave with the captors. I mean.
To this day, nothing is left of the old Iga villages.
Nobunaga had destroyed their homes, destroyed their families. This made them drop in social class. They had been displaced. This changed the history of the Iga people forever.
The once proud ninjas of Iga are now scattered and in flight, while Nobunaga's troops scour the hills to hunt them down. All looks lost for them, with no land, no status, and no money. All they can do is hope to scrape a living as peasants in some other region where no one will know them. Then, just as all seems lost, some extraordinary news comes through. In a palace coup, the cruel overlord, Oda Nobunaga, has been assassinated at Kyoto.
Nobunaga had just become the ultimate power in Japan, and he sent his troops out to the provinces to spread the word. While Nobunaga was distracted, one of his close generals took advantage of that and assassinated Nobunaga to take power for himself.
It's good news for the ninjas of Iga, but it also plunges Japan into political chaos. Nobunaga's killers now turn on the overlord's allies. Summary executions of all the senior figures associated with the old regime begin immediately. One high-ranking warlord in particular is suddenly in serious trouble. He's none other than Tokugawa Ieyasu. He has risen to become a close strategic ally of Nobunaga, and by chance, happened to be visiting him. Now Ieyasu is far from home and on the wrong side, while a revolution erupts around him. The road home is teeming with his enemies, and he's trapped.
When Oda Nobunaga was assassinated, Tokugawa Ieyasu found himself in a really dangerous situation. He had to get home, he had to get back to his lands. However, which was the best way to go? How could he do this?
The only way Ieyasu can get home is to take a perilous journey across the mountains of Iga. It's a golden opportunity for Hanzo, who immediately uses his contacts and his dispossessed ninja force to help his old friend.
Iga is Hanzo's home territory. The Iga people still there didn't trust Ieyasu. But Hanzo persuaded them to protect him and help him across the mountains. Hanzo had great authority with his people and used his connections and influence in Iga.
As Ieyasu, Hanzo, and their men flee across the mountains, word gets back to the new regime. A hunter-killer unit of samurai pursue the ninjas, believing they can stop the escaping force and seize Ieyasu. This time it's the ninja who will face an ambush.
Yeah, they fought with honor back then. Like, man, if it was me, I would have picked up a couple of rocks and took some out, like, before I got to them instead of, like, charging with a sword. So, I mean, that's just me.
It's a narrow escape for Tokugawa Ieyasu, but the making of Hattori Hanzo and his ninjas.
Now, because of this, Tokugawa Ieyasu was extremely grateful. They had saved his life. So he hired up to 100 of their men to help guard him at Edo Castle, modern-day Tokyo.
With Nobunaga dead, the number of military campaigns and warring factions starts to dwindle. Ieyasu's political career finally takes him to the very top, and he assumes complete control of a united and peaceful Japan. His triumph inaugurates a golden era for Japan and a 265-year dynasty of shoguns. And with them all the way are the ninja and the descendants of the greatest of them all, Hattori, the Devil, Hanzo.
Oh, what the hell? Oh, that was interesting. So yeah, that's that was that. So there's a couple of more documentaries I want to watch. That was just one one time period in feudal Japan that that I was interested in looking at. So, but yeah, there's another one I want to watch that's more catered to the ninja and the shinobi. So, but that is crazy. I might do one on Miyamoto Musashi. Everybody knows who he is, so or at least people that really pay attention to Japanese culture. But yeah, I'm gonna do a little more of these reactions. I've got like 2 books on ancient ninjutsu and stuff, so I might have to get something that's more updated. I want to see what they're talking about these days, because I know the art has changed a little bit, but you got to kind of know your history first, especially if you're interested in this stuff. Um, yeah, guys, make sure you guys hit the like, comment, or if you got anything to say, or if you're interested in the art, let me know, man. We can get together, do some stuff. Anybody watching this video wants to do some type of, because I'm going to start my own gym once I have the money to do it. Going to make it an open gym. Nobody has to come in and take a class or anything. It's gonna be like a sanctuary for people that practice martial arts, do parkour, stuff like that. Um, I actually want to do it mainly because I'm doing a fire rope dart and I need to be indoors to do that. I'm gonna have a secluded spot though, so we don't burn the building down. But it's gonna be fireproof. I'm gonna try and make it fireproof. I got a lot of plans for this gym, so I need to get this gym before I turn 44 because I want to have a time frame on it. So hopefully it'll get put together before that, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. Got another stream coming. I don't know if it's gonna be today or tomorrow, but it's coming. So it's gonna be a funny one. So um everybody who joined me in watching this video, thank you for your attention, and we will see you next time. Peace.